Hi, my name's Heather O'Neill, and this slideshow is about my personal information and 3 levels of government control and public education. So, who am I? Like I stated, my name's Heather O'Neill. I've been married for 16 years. I have 2 little boys. My family runs a small farm, and we enjoy doing anything outdoors. Hiking, camping, gardening, swimming, boating, you name it, we like to be outdoors. So where do I work? I live and work in Oskaloosa, Kansas. I work for Keystone Learning Center, which is a special ed cooperative, but I work for the Oskaloosa Elementary and Oskaloosa Junior Senior High School. The reason I work for both schools, or all 3 schools, is because I'm a special ed teacher who currently teaches 5th through 12th grade. In the past, I've taught K through 6, and then I had a caseload of 4th through 6th grade, but like I said, I currently teach 5th through 12th grade right now. I have a variety of students in my classroom. My students are higher than, what would be considered functional, but they definitely need more support than a resource room. So I kind of consider myself a tweener teacher. Okay, so now on to how the government control works with public education. So the first question, what kind of supports do public schools receive at the following levels? So at the local level, the key points that I wanted to make is that we get local property tax dollars. This varies depending on the tax rate, exemptions, and the community affluence. And I know that my school is in a pretty poor community, and so I definitely, know that those tax dollars hurt us. And then this money is controlled by the local school board. What kinds of supports do public schools receive at the following levels? So at the state level, I talked about the local levels. At the state level, they provide slightly less than half the funding for the school. So mostly this money comes from sales and income taxes. We do have a state lottery in Kansas, but the money goes into the general fund. So it could be used for education, but it's not earmarked for just specifically education like it is in some states. The state delegates authority to the local level, but that authority can be reclaimed. The state helps to create additional standards in science, social studies, arts, and in the foreign language, and it provides kind of a framework for the evaluation of standards, but each state implements this differently. They have the freedom to do it differently than the neighboring state. So same question at the federal level. The federal government provides about 10% of operating costs, but this comes with rules and regulations from all 3 branches. Some of these rules and regulations today and along the way have been the Civil Rights Act, IDEA, No Child Left Behind, and the Elementary Secondary Education Act. States are not required to follow No Child Left Behind, but all 50 states do choose to do that because they do want the federal funding. The federal government helps to collect data, evaluate performance, suggest policy changes, and measure outcomes. So then who's in charge of these various levels, regarding education, and what are their duties? So at the KSDE, so the Kansas State Department of Education, Randy Watson is our commissioner. He's in charge of the fiscal and administrative sides of the Department of Ed, and then that breaks down to, the Department of Ed is in charge of standards, teacher licensing, accreditation, education, policies, and, many more smaller branches off. I just wanted to make the key points of the big parts that they were in charge of. So then other levels of this are the Kansas Board of Regents. I just put 2 of the board members. Blake Flanders is the president and CEO from the resource that I found in Shane Bangerter maybe is the chair. So they are in charge of the universities, community colleges, technical colleges, and technical schools. Then along with that is the Special Education Agency, and they provide leadership and support for special education learners. Along with this, they have the State Adult Education Agency, and this does a variety of things. The ones I wanted to point out were they help students to learn English. If English is their second language, they help prepare them to earn their GED, upgrade job skills, enroll in tech schools, and two of the key jobs were manufacturing and healthcare. So who's in charge of the various levels again, and which ones are paid and which ones are volunteers? So kind of at the local level, I broke it down and I said the volunteers are our parent-teacher organization. I'm part of our PTO, and we provide a lot of funding for the school to, buy things such as playground equipment, upgrades in the school. We've put in new water fountains and things like that, kind of whatever the school is needing but maybe isn't able to afford. We try to help out through our fundraising, or we try to split the bill if we can. The local school board is a volunteer, and then the State Board of Education are volunteers. Paid, I put the principal, superintendent, and KSDE employees. And then which level has the most control over public education? I feel like the state defines academic standards, but I feel like the local level has more, of that power and control over how those things are implemented. So I feel like the local level defines curriculum and how to meet those standards, and they decide best how to allocate those funds. And I think that's important, that they have the freedom to do what they think is best for their school and their students. So how does all this support, create successful students and the well-being of successful students and adults? So, the funding provided helps to create programs, curriculum, hire additional staff and qualified teachers. At the state level, standards are created. This ensures that every student is taught to reach the same standard, and requirements in key academic areas. So we have one central focus there, and then the districts are in charge of, figuring out how that needs to happen per individual student. And then at the federal level, laws are passed, and that ensures that students are not discriminated against, and that a minimum standard is set for all public schools and districts. Again, the states can choose how they want to implement those, but there is a minimum that they must follow. As I stated before, the Civil Rights Act, No Child Left Behind, etc. And the 3 resources I found most helpful are listed on my APA resource page. Thank you.